If you're not focusing on creative ways to use the F word in retirement, you're doing it wrong. And know before you go causing chaos with family and friends, I don't mean that F word, I mean a different one, freedom. What we often find is that we work with business owners or those retiring from lifelong careers. And although you're gaining freedom, you may feel like you're losing a piece of your identity when you retire. I'm Amber Knips, Wealth Advisor at Sweet Financial out of Fairmont and Jackson, Minnesota. And I specialize in working with high net worth individuals who are planning for what's next and some of life's biggest transitions. We believe everyone has the right to realize that their dreams are possible, and we use that as our driving force when we're planning overall for retirement and for really the future and what's next. I can picture an exact conversation I had with a client. She worked her entire career with her employer for 45 years. She started there entry level and worked her way all up to management. She sacrificed a lot over her career. She worked a lot of hours, but really her career was her identity. And she would go out in public. People would recognize her for her efforts and always ask her a lot of questions. And she was known for her professional career. So when we started planning for retirement and looking at the numbers, things looked great. She was a great saver. She was really good with her money. But the hardest part for her was thinking about what's next. Now that you have this freedom, that's great because she's never had freedom. What's she going to do with it? She had a really hard time thinking about that. She was known for her career. She was worried about losing her identity and being one of those people who retired, got sick, and then were gone. So that was the biggest hurdle for her, which is often a big misconception. We think the number one thing is to make sure we have enough money, right? But that's not necessarily the case. It's making sure we know what we want to do with our money, which often gets pushed to the wayside. So even though you might do a lot of planning for retirement once, it's something that needs to continuously happen because you will continuously evolve throughout retirement. So what might be important to you as you're getting closer to retirement? Like sometimes I have people say, oh, I just can't wait to not have to wake up at a certain time. I'm going to sit on the couch and I'm doing nothing. Well, 2 weeks later, they're like, Amber, I'm bored to tears. I can't do this anymore. So figuring out each of those different phases and figuring out what's important to you. Retirement planning is never complete. It just keeps adjusting for your new seasons of life and planning for different types of things and complexities as they come along to make sure you stay on track. So the biggest gift that retirement gives you is freedom, but it's really important for you to think about having that clear vision of what do you want to do with that freedom? You finally have the time, and time is one of our most valuable qualities and commodities. So having the ability to spend that how you want is so important. And maybe that means traveling, and you're finally looking forward to having the flexibility to do that. Or maybe you want to develop a hobby and figuring out what type of hobby is that? Is there anything that you need for that? And that also plays into it from a cash flow perspective of, do I need to buy anything up front? Does that make sense to do before I retire or after I retire? And maybe it's about family, having more time to spend with them because you didn't have time before because you were stuck, working so many hours. There's no magic formula on how much money we need because it's different for everyone. I have some clients who want to travel the world and they need a lot of funds. And I have some who are more content volunteering at home, with some of their local organizations. And overall, they're giving their time and they don't have a ton of expenses. But figuring out what that is for you. We often get so stuck in the day-to-day and all the things that we kind of forget to uncover what we want out of life. And that's something that we work through with the Dream Architect process, is we want to change that conversation to really dreaming big and figuring out what were some of those can'ts before and making them cans now, of having them be in our reach so that you can pursue what's most important to you. And the Dream Architect process does exactly that. It's a 4-step planning process to really figure out what's the most important in planning for your future. And with everyone I've helped plan for retirement and work through retirement successfully, the number one thing that they say they wish they would have known is, what I wanted to do, what was the most important to me. So being able to focus on that now is so important because we believe everyone has the right to realize that their dreams are possible. And we want to help you uncover and find out what that is. And a really great place to start is thinking about what's next while working through our Retirement Readiness Center. And that helps you have all of the tools to really start that conversation and then continue that in person. And we're giving away this tool, access to this tool completely free. You can check it out at mysweetfinancial.com. And also, if you found this helpful, you should check out our other video, 4 strategies for a successful retirement.